Right, the next stage is the design brief. Now the design brief has to be linked to the design situation, to the problem. Pretty much in a nutshell, the brief is explaining really what it is that you're intending to actually do, but it is brief, it's not specific. And so if we have a quick look at the definition on the screen, it needs to try to solve the situation, the problem. You should always begin with it. I'm going to design and make, or manufacture is a proper word for it, and then usually you give a description of the product and the users and how you're going to go about solving it. What is it that you need to make? Like I say, don't be too exact. The brief should be a general description, and you need to give you some sort of flexibility about the type of product you're going to make. So if you're designing a shop front, it may not be a good idea to say what type of client the shop may have, whether it's male or female, etc. At this point, that's something we can develop later on. So don't be too exact about materials either. It is sensible not to state what you're going to use. Obviously it's a graphics product. By the definition of what's actually in the AQA syllabus, the graphic product has to be something that is mainly made of either card, paper, or manufactured from a mould, and basically it's a model of something. So we can use vacuum forming to some degree, we can use MDF or things like that, but generally speaking it's a card, a paper or foam board type model. Okay, so try to keep it quite brief, to the point of where it just explains what it is that you're actually going to try and achieve. Now I'll give you an example of a design brief as well. So let's have a look at what I've just done. I'll place that a bit further down. So the first thing is, you can see what I've done is highlighted in orange the keywords that I have to include from the design situation. So I've been asked to design and manufacture. We always start off with that one. That's the key thing. A corporate identity. We haven't said what the corporate identity is just yet, but we've got an idea now in the brief of what it is that we're actually after, which can be transferred easily across various promotional media. This means that instead of just doing a shop front, for example, or a package of I don't know, a wrapper of some description of a confectionery bar, what we need to look at is other things that go with it. A corporate brand, more than one sort of product. So if people are designing packaging for perfume bottles, there might be a range of perfume bottles, and what we need to do is make sure that when you actually create, as it says in the next line, the name, a logo and a slogan, that those can be interpreted into each of those products. So it's pointless designing a logo that will only fit on the front of a shop if it can't go on a business card, the uniform, name badge, or anything else that's related to the business. It's not good design in that case, and that may be something that you use to test it towards the end. So the client has requested a name, a logo and a slogan which has a defined colour scheme and typography. By typography, all we mean is the size and the font. So we're starting to break the product down slightly into a more detailed description of what it is we're actually looking at. I also need to present a prototype scale model. It doesn't say what the model would be specifically, although in this case, because I know that I'm designing a shop front, what I've done is gone a bit further and said of what the external frontage of the shop should be. Now it could be you're doing the interior of a shop, it could be that you're doing an actual package, it could be that you're doing a product, a prop for a film set, etc. Whatever it is that you're actually making a graphic product of will be what you make the prototype of, and you can sort of suggest the things that might be. Now I've carried on to include all the other areas. Clearly within 40 hours we won't be able to do everything that I've just mentioned or will be mentioning in the brief further on, but it gives you an idea of the type of things you can include. So for example, the idea for the bag, where we can actually put the name of the shop onto the bag, or the name of the product onto the bag, or the packaging of whatever it is that you're designing, that's always good, and it increases it so we can prove when we come to test it that we can transfer it across promotional graphical methods or items of products, etc. So the things that the basic one would be the shop frontage, ideas for the bag, so we just create a bag with the name of the shop on, and then a business card that will go through it. That's enough really to get you into the A's, the B's and the A grades. The client would also like ideas for a uniform and livery for the company and the vehicles, so that's easy as well. Instead of doing the promotion for the bag, we just get a picture of the vehicle and we put the name on the vehicle, and we look at the colour schemes, etc. Same with the uniform. If you're good at fashion design and you want to bring that bit into it, then take that into it as well. So it's not saying you're going to have all of them, these are just giving you ideas of things that you could do. The other things you could look at are points of sales. So in other words, things that we can have within the shop or within a business that we can actually put our products on to promote them on the shop floor. So points of sales may also need to be considered, as will flyers and the online web page for the business. So we're linking in that IT, if you're doing IT, to get into there. And it's also making it aware of what we said on the situation. Now in the design situation, if we quickly click back onto that one, it does say that the client expects to trade online as well as from the shop, which is why in the brief what we've actually got there is that reference to a web page for the business. So it's all starting to link in. Now this is important because the examiner will read these right at the start. This is what sets the flavour or the preface, if you would like, to your product. Okay, so what happens once we've done that then? Once you've got the key things in there, I wouldn't highlight all the keywords specifically unless you wish to. So I get rid of that one, and again, all we do, size 12 font, nothing bigger than that. Bring it into the area that it's going to go. Control C to copy, or in this case I'm going to Control X to get rid of it. Back onto my front page, paste it into design brief, and again we're starting to fill the page. Now if your task analysis doesn't fit into that area, all we do is just move it around, and this is the best thing about having this done as an e-folio, is that you can start to manipulate the different designs. Now what I must try and do is always make sure that these are in line. So I'm just going to zoom in so you can see, and I'm trying to get the font so it lines up. So every little bit of detail that we're presenting fits in with our design. Okay, now if it looks like I've got a bit too much space at the bottom, all I'm going to do there is, if I just zoom back out, is manufacture this. So let me group them just for a moment, just so it doesn't go. Whatever space I've got from the top, I can then put that space in from the bottom. Okay, so I'll highlight this bottom piece and try and keep the same space from the top bit to the bottom bit and from the bottom. So it's starting to balance up. Okay, the task analysis, we need to describe what the task analysis is, and that's going to be the next section that we need to look at. So already we're starting to fill the pages up, and I'll just prepare things ready for the task analysis. If I've got the task analysis answers at the bottom, what I need to do is make sure that these are lined up. So I'm lining this one up with the ones at the side, and just need to get rid of the answers. From there, a brief description of what that will be, and then this one needs to be lined up with it and brought down to start the answers onto the sheet. So we're starting to get a quality design portfolio. Okay, the next one that we'll look at then is actually what the task analysis is.